Loyalty doesn't happen by accident. It is through a series of being intentional.
But the customer doesn't care which department they're in. They care about one brand experience.
I didn't say to retain customers. I said to make loyal customers, because that is very, very key right now.
All we do is tell the customer their vehicle's bad. They're going to say they don't like their vehicle.
If this business was easy, I don't think I'd want to be a part of it.
This car business industry has given me so much confidence, understand human behavior, body language, customer experience.
Welcome to Driven Loyalty, the podcast with proven strategies and expert insights tailored for automotive professionals looking to maximize retention, enhance customer experience, and drive sustainable growth. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Automotive Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Driven Loyalty, where, well, I get to talk to anybody and everybody I want to talk to when it comes to the efforts needed to create loyal customers at your dealership. And I said loyal. I didn't say to retain customers. I said to make loyal customers, because that is very, very key right now. And I'm very excited for our guests today. We're going to dive deep into some really, really cool topics. But hey, we can't create cool content like this without our sponsor. And here's a quick message from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Podium. So here's a question for you. What would it mean for your dealership if you had one more employee who worked 24/7, never took a break, and was focused solely on turning every lead into a yes, even the after-hour ones, into test drives, a sale, and ultimately more revenue? Well, let's meet Jerry, Podium's brand new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversation machine, ready to jump on every lead that comes in instantly. He can answer questions, keep those leads engaged, and even schedule test drives, all without any direct human supervision. And here's the best part. With a seamless handoff to your sales team, your customers will never even know they were interacting with an AI. If you're curious about how Podium's AI BDC can help you move more cars, check it out at podium.com/SWJ. That's for Strategy with Jason. That's podium.com/SWJ, or just hit the link in the show notes below. All right, guys, I'm back. I have the one, the only, the oh so famous. He paid me to say this. Corey, I got CoreySmith with Easy Care. Corey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me. Super excited to talk about loyalty with you and get this all started. I'm a huge fan of what you do. Thanks for everything you do for the industry. So I'm excited. Let's get going. Dude,
I'm so glad that you were able to come jam with me. We've talked about this before. This is not like a brand new topic for us. You know, it's like we're both, big and like, hey, we understand the objective behind the retention number, but just because you retain a customer doesn't necessarily make them a loyal customer. That is a wildly different thing. Corey, I just told you the story of my Nissan Armada that's sitting outside here right now, where I guess on paper I would be a loyal customer, but they retain me because of the warranty. And I guarantee you right now, once that warranty expires, I am gone. I'm never visiting that dealership again. Anyways, I digress. That'll be an entirely different topic. But hey, Corey, I love kicking off these podcasts with a quick origin story. Because I'm just fundamentally fascinated how in the world people get into the automotive industry. So Corey, if you're cool with it, let's start there. How in the world did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
Well, it was in the mid 90s. I was working at a hi-fi audio store called Tweeter, and that was a full-time job. And then I had a part-time job in radio. And I really I love gear. I love gadgets. If anybody who knows me knows that, oh yeah, Corey's definitely the technology guru, right? I had a dealer come in and buy a bunch of stuff from me and said, hey, you should work in my service department. And back then he had weekends off. So it was Monday through Friday. And I had to work Saturday and sometimes Sunday. And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I started working at a Nissan store. There was no training. of any kind. It was, there's your computer, there's your route sheet, those are your texts, good luck, right? And I didn't last very long. I ended up going back to Tweeter like 6 to 8 months later. And then another dealer came in and bought stuff from me and said the same thing. I said, nah, I did that. You guys don't train. And he promised me that he would personally train me and show me the ropes and take care of me. And his name was Gary Puyat. And I owe him everything because this car business industry has given me so much. It's given me, confidence. Allowed me to take care of customers' vehicles, understand human behavior, body language, customer experience, and then getting outside of the dealership, doing what I do for Easy Care. And I get to give back to the advisors and teach them how to really think about putting the customer first.
Well, and once you're kind of in the business, man, you're in the business. Once it's in your blood, dude, it's hard to get it out. Sorry, what was the name of the manager again? You just said it.
Gary Puyat.
Is he still with us? Is he out there?
He's still with us. He works at a car dealership in Maine, Lee Automall.
Yeah. I love it. Well, shout out to Gary. Thank you for hiring young Corey. When was that, by the way? When was that?
That was the first time I got in the car business was in '98, and then he hired me, I think, in early 2000, and I'd been in the car business right up until I got out of retail in 2016.
Wow. Dude, so once you're in, and then it doesn't surprise me that you want to, like, I'm the same way, wanting to give back to the industry, right? Like, just this has been an amazing industry. It's got its challenges. It still has its challenges. It's probably another reason, Corey, why we're still around, right? Because like if this business was easy, I don't think I'd want to be a part of it.
I like a challenge.
I like a good challenge, right? And it is a challenge to create a loyal customer in a department when all you're doing is pretty much giving bad news. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever gone to a service department where like, hey, by the way, you need nothing? Hell, I didn't even have to do an oil. Let me give you some money today. And you have yourself a wonderful day, right? It doesn't happen, right?
Doesn't
knowing that something's going to be wrong, something's going to have to be dealt with.
It's funny you mentioned that, because in my class, I told the advisors that all we do is tell the customer their vehicle's bad. They're going to say they don't like their vehicle, right? It's the same thing with your children. If you tell your children you're bad, they think they're a bad kid. We've got to get back to telling them, what's good about their vehicle. And I'm not saying good news, bad news. I'm saying at 5,000 miles, your vehicle passes this inspection, that inspection, right? And then later on, you'll have some stuff that passes and fails. If you keep it simple like that, you're giving the customer all the information, not just coming to them when their vehicle's broken.
See, guys, this is why Corey's a master at creating loyal customers. Look at that. Like, he just did it right there. I mean, I can almost just stop the podcast. Because guys, Corey, I like this, dude. This is what I love talking to my friends about stuff like this, is because if we find rabbit holes, that is an amazing, I want to get a little deeper in this, because you're absolutely right. I mean, I can't say I've ever been into a service department where that presentation is in a positive way. It is just, and really, if you think about it, like even the manufacturer, think of like the checklist, right? That we have to do. They're color coded.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's a bunch of crap that's red, and then a bunch of crap that's yellow, and maybe a few things that are green. I mean, it is designed to literally kind of bring out the worst of it. But to your point, like, if I want to create a loyal customer, right, we got to keep this positive. Can we dive a little bit more into this? Do you mind? Like,
no, let's go.
Give me a quick example.
So I tell the advisors, treat the customer like an ATM.
Okay.
If you go to your ATM and you want to pull money out and you got a zero balance, can you pull money out? No. If you don't give the customer value and education, and everything we do has to be led with value and purpose. How you answer the phone is valuable. How you educate the customer is valuable. How you walk around their vehicle and care for them is valuable. Those are all mental deposits you're putting in that customer. When you execute that, and I tell them, I'm not here to make you a better salesperson. I'm here to make you a better presenter. So when they go into the waiting room, they're masters of the waiting room. And at 5,000 miles, you're telling the customer, you're going through the whole checklist on that multi-point. Everything. You're not just saying, oh, your multi-point is all good. Don't say that. Just say your strut, springs, arms, bushings, battery, starter, alternator, all pass our inspection. Your front tires, your rear tires, pass our inspection. Your front brakes, your rear brakes, pass our inspection. Your wiper blades, pass our inspection. You do that at 5,000 and you're consistent at 10, 15. Now at 15, you might say, oh, your air filter and cabin filter fail our inspection, and everything else passes, right? You're going through that whole checklist again. So you're going pass, fail, pass, fail, pass, fail. And then you're ending with, do you have any questions for me? Of course, they're going to have questions for you. And guess what that is? That's a buying signal. They're going to buy from you, whether they buy today or whether they come back and get it done. Stop going in and just telling the customer bad news, because then they think their vehicle is bad. Sure. And they're not going to be loyal. And they're going to go someplace else. And then once it's out of warranty, they're going to trade it in and they're going to try a different model, or they're going to try a different brand, for goodness sakes, right?
You know what? It's funny that you say this because, so, obviously one of my cars, well, unfortunately, I'm a car guy, so I have a handful than one car. I have more than one car, right? All right. So I have this older, Mercedes E63, a total blast to drive, by the way, in every single way. Obviously I don't go to the dealership to get that thing serviced, right? It's a 15-year-old car, still moves like it's a bat out of a hell, right? And I take it to this one guy, we'll call him Joe's Auto Shop, just for all intents and purposes, right? All right. Well, here's the thing I love about Joe. He always started up. He goes, "Well, you know what? It ain't a bad E-Class." But, and then he'll usually start it off that way, right? I swear, every time I go in there, I don't know if he does this knowingly or unknowingly, but he always reassures me, well, it is an E63. Just before I get into anything else, let's just remind ourselves that it is a 500 horsepower, naturally aspirated, hand-built V8, all right? And then let's get into why this is going to cost you this much money. I digress. Okay, let's get, I know we got some topics. I want to make sure we get into them. And I love that we went down that rabbit hole. Guys, how incredibly important this is, that little things is what ultimately creates loyal customers. And if you're literally starting the entire service experience off, and this is true on variable side too, right, guys? I know we're talking about fixed ops today, but this is very true on the variable side as well. It is little things that make big differences to ultimately create loyalty. So one of the little things we want to talk about right now is the handoff, right? And I'm just kind of curious for why do you think handoffs are such a kind of a blind spot for dealers? Because that handoff, I mean, dude, that's that pivotal moment to say, like, all right, am I going to keep doing business with this person or not? So let's get into it. Why do you think handoffs are such a blind spot for dealers?
Because it's everyone's job. And when something's everyone's job, it becomes no one's job. There's a neutral wall between departments, right? It's sales versus service and service versus parts. Sales focuses on the now, service focuses on the next, right? But the customer doesn't care which department they're in. They care about one brand experience. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always say one record, one script, one owner does the handoff. When the dealer makes that a daily habit, it changes everything, Jason. Sure. Communication, CSI, and repeat business. That's what you're into. You want that customer to be loyal. Now, when I do a walk around and I don't talk to the customer and they're standing there with me and I'm got my fancy iPad and I'm taking pictures of dents and scratches, what am I telling the customer? Mm-hmm. I'm telling them, I don't trust you.
That's true.
But what do I want them to do? I want them to trust me.
Good point.
You can't do that. You have to include the customer. Hey, here's what we're doing. Every customer here at ABC Motors, we do a courtesy walk around on your vehicle so that you'll know more about your vehicle today than before you came in. Sound good? I'm going to take some pictures and we're going to talk about your vehicle and I'm going to point out some things and we're going to talk about it. Having that process is the best way to hold everyone accountable. And it's the same thing in sales. You don't take in a vehicle without doing a trade walk. The goal of the trade walk is, how do you like the vehicle? What don't you like about the vehicle? What products did you buy in the vehicle? And did you use them? Process isn't the sexy part of retail, but it's the part that prints money. I'll say that again. Process isn't the sexy part of retail, but it's the part that prints money.
It's a great point. It's funny. I actually have a good example of this. So my wife's Kia, she got to tell you, right? I take it in for an oil change because she says the light came on. No problem. I'll go do it. Right. I take it in, come back out. They're like, hey, the rear tail light is broken. Like not just like cracked, but like physically broken. And I'm like, well, it wasn't broken when I came in here. You know what I mean? I'm like, so what did you guys back into? What backed into it? I mean, it's like, and of course the guys, he starts off with this, actually, it's broken. It's going to cost $786. Like the entire, wow, rear tail light housing that wasn't broken when I came in, So like we get into like a full-fledged argument and I'm like, well, you guys need to show me. They had no way of showing me that they did anything. There was no cameras or anything in this. I said, look, I didn't bring this in. I'm driving away, right? So I think we actually ended up agreeing because it needed to be replaced. It needed to be replaced no matter what. So I think he knocked off a couple $100, finally did it. And I was cussing, swearing, red in the face, just like, I'm never coming back here. It ain't going to happen. So what do I do right afterwards? I call my wife. I'm like, you won't believe what just happened. She goes, oh, shit, I forgot to tell you. I did that the other day when I was dropping off James. I'm like,
oh no.
I'm like, you're kidding me. I just ripped this gentleman. Like,
we'd see loyalty jump overnight. Most stores just don't have that built into their process. They try, but they don't fix it. We need to celebrate the sale and not forget about starting the relationship. So celebrate the sale, but don't forget to start the relationship.
Service is over there. Whenever you need an oil change, when that light jumps on, you just go over there, right? Just like, really, I know. I just recently bought a rooftop tent for one of my vehicles. Right?
Oh, nice. How many vehicles do you have? I got to know.
I got 4. No, it's not crazy, but there's 4, right? Well, I bought a rooftop tent for my Rivian. So because I don't know, they look cooler with a rooftop tent on it. To be honest, why not, right?
I know.
So I bought one, but dude, I got like an email. I got a card from the company welcoming me to the community. They gave me links to all their like social media handles where other owners are talking about places that they've gone and visited and stuff like this. I'm just like, dude, like there was like, I'm like, this is not. I bought a car and then I bought a tent. I got more interaction and a better handoff, from one department to another, to the after sales department, right? To this, just like when I bought a tent. Anyways, I digress.
How did that make you feel as a customer?
It made me feel great. And honestly, they gave me ideas. They're like, oh, by the way, you live in this area. A lot of our owners say that this is a great place if you ever want. I'm like, oh, dude, I didn't even know about this place. I'm Googling it. I'm like, oh, crap. That's exactly where I'm going to go take, the vehicle out with the tent right, for its first time. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go there. That's awesome, right? It's just, it doesn't take, to your point, you said it earlier, it's a process. You have to process your way to profitability. You mentioned that. And you have to process your way to loyalty. Loyalty doesn't happen by accident. It is through a series of being intentional. And that's a perfect segue into my next question with you, because I wanted to get into, just like, I know we've talked a little bit about this in the past. We talked about, times and communication gaps, and how the lack of a process there is creating issues. But let's get into it. So what's the deal right now? Because it just seems to be a deal kind of everywhere I'm talking to, everything I'm reading. Wait times are through the roof. Communication's just absolutely horrible. Love to get your perspective on kind of what's going on in the industry right now.
I mean, it's huge too, because you have some dealers that you can't get in for anything for 3 to 5 days. So the JD Power data is telling a story we can't ignore. CSI is up, yes, but wait times are now over 5 days for both mass market and premium vehicles. Mm-hmm. That means customers like us, when we finally see them, but they're frustrated getting to us. If they don't get what they want, what they're looking for, they're going to go someplace else, and that ruins the loyalty. If it takes 5 days to get in and we don't proactively update them, we're just training the customer to try the aftermarket next time, right? I talk about it in training all the time, is that I have like a little check sheet. We greet the customer. We walk around the customer. We talk to them and present the multi-point and a menu, follow up, invoicing, billing, and then deliver the vehicle back to them. Out of this whole list, what is one thing that the customer wants the most? And everyone says status updates.
100%.
Absolutely. What's the one thing on this list that we suck at? Status updates. If you don't have anything pertinent to say, it's okay to call the customer and say, hey, Jason, just want to let you know I was thinking of you. Your part's still on galactic back order. Do you want me to call you once a week? You want me to call you every day? You want me to send you a text, email? Let Jason tell me how he wants to do it, because here, Jason, we do it your way, right? The solution isn't hiring more techs. It's creating visibility. Dealers need capacity boards, status updates, and fast lane menus for light maintenance. Customers will forgive a delay. They won't forgive silence. Because I'll play the scenario. Jason, you're my customer, and I've had your vehicle for 3 weeks. You finally get fed up, haven't heard from me. You call me. They answer the phone after 12 rings.
Mhm.
They say, "Oh yeah, Corey, I'll transfer you to Corey's desk." Corey's in the drive, or Corey's talking to a technician. Jason gets my voicemail. How happy is Jason going to be leaving that voicemail?
way better.
Right.
Well, you know what's fun? You know what's funny is, and I'm kind of listening. Isn't it kind of crazy how processes that yield higher profitability are also the same processes that also generate more loyal customers? Isn't this funny? Isn't this like, it's like, okay, so like obviously if I just communicate better, which is a better process, all right, we can directly link that to higher profitability, right? The more the customer knows, the more knowledgeable they are, all right, just the more money they spend, because their trust and their confidence in what we're saying increases, right? When there's a total lack of communication, obviously the trust is low and the spend is low. Like it kind of goes hand in hand. But it's funny just how like these two, anyways. So you mentioned a little bit, but more I want to get deeper into this, because from your training, work, like what's the number one quick win a dealer can implement to kind of close those gaps? I know you mentioned a couple of things, but like what's like that number one thing they can do right now?
I mean, the number one thing that they can do right now to close that communication gap is asking the customer, how do you want to communicate? What do you want? And you have to, if you're a dealer listening right now and you're running a department or you're an owner, there has to be a minimum requirement to maintain the service advisor's job. Again, you're not going to take a trade in without doing a trade walk. We shouldn't do a service work on a car without doing a walk around with the customer. And we've got it narrowed down to 3 points. At the driver's side door, you're asking the customer, you're trying to find something out about the customer.
Yes.
What do they do for work, or what are their hobbies? And then on the passenger side rear, you're asking the customer, how long do you plan on keeping this vehicle? Because that's going to indicate how I talk to you and communicate with you going further. Jason, you say, I'm going to be getting rid of it in 3 months. I'm still going to give you the estimate that's $6,000 worth of stuff, but I'm still going to talk to you saying, hey, Jason, I know you're going to get rid of it in 3 months. You may want to get rid of it sooner than that.
For sure.
And you may just say, you know what? If I'm going to invest this kind of money into it, I'm going to keep it another year. Okay. Right. And then lastly, on the passenger side front, we're asking the customer, what is your day like today? I don't want you to ask the customer, how long do I have the vehicle for? Because they're going to say, you can have it all day. Jason, what does the end of the day look like for you?
Sure.
What time do you get done work?
Because everyone's going to be different, right? For me, it's
Yes.
5 o'clock.
For me, it's 3 o'clock. So if I drop my vehicle off to you and you're my advisor and I say you have it all day, I'm calling you at noon saying, hey, Jason, where's my car? And you're like, what are you talking about? I have it until 5 o'clock. No, I'm out of work at 3. What does your day look like today? Well, I'm out of work at 3. I'm going to my daughter's recital at 4, right? It's a different way of asking, how long do I have your vehicle?
More personable.
Right. It's not the weight that kills you. It's not knowing how long the wait is that kills you.
There we go. Yep. 100%.
It's a $70,000 vehicle, Jason, and I've had it for 3 weeks. You just made another truck payment and you still don't have your vehicle and you're driving around a small Prius. How happy are you right now? How loyal do you want to be to me? Right?
Not loyal. Not loyal at all. Can you imagine? That would suck. I hope no dealers do that, by the way. If you're out there watching and listening right now, I hope that if you ever get a truck customer to come in service, that you're not giving them a Prius as a service loaner.
You'll love this. You'll love this story, Jason. So I was an advisor at a Toyota store. Tundra wasn't going to be done for this customer.
Yeah.
No one had cars. Enterprise, nobody. We had an orange Prius.
Okay. Awesome.
And the guy is 6'6", like big guy. And I said, I'm so sorry, sir. This is all I could find. And he's like, how long am I going to be needing this? I'm like, as soon as I find something else, I'll get you out of it.
Yeah.
And like 3 or 4 days goes by, I call him and I say, hey, I got another Tundra. Do you want to switch? He's like, no, I'm actually good with this. I like the fact that I'm saving money on gas. I have to shoehorn myself into it, but I'm fine. So at first I thought he was going to kill me, but I know you'd like it because it was the color and he's went from a big Tundra to a Prius.
Oh, dude, I love that. That's absolutely. I don't think I'd be caught dead driving a Prius. No, that's actually not true. I will say they've gotten better looking.
They have.
I recently saw one on the road, and I was like, "What's that?" And then it drove by, and I saw the name up. Oh, okay. Well, it's not what I remember they used to look like. Okay. Anyway, okay. Getting into our next one, I know we're getting towards the last third of our conversation, but we've mentioned EVs a couple times. I love EVs. I know everyone's got different opinions on it. Look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't buy my EV because I want to save the planet. No interest. I buy it because like I can put it in a mode where it lowers, activates all 4 motors, and literally fully loaded with the family, my wife, my parents, and the dog, I still outrun a Corvette. Like there's just something phenomenally cool about that, right? It's just so. Yes, I'm an EV owner. No, not because I want to be green. It's fine. Anyways, I do find that, you know, I when going through the process of this, that franchise dealers are struggling with this, and specifically, they're struggling on just like keeping EV loyalty. Right, seems to be kind of a challenge right now, and I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on why specifically franchise dealers, because not all EV manufacturers have this problem, but specifically franchise dealers have kind of an EV loyalty challenge right now, and I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
My thoughts are going to be really wild, but because we promised the moon at the dealership and we forget to build the landing pad, EV customers were sold an innovation, apps, over-the-air updates, zero maintenance. But then when they show up to service drive, that's not fully equipped or trained. They're confused, right? Dealers need to be BEV readiness. They have to have a checklist. Yep. They have to have compatibility, transparency, charging stations, technician training, clear understanding from the advisors of what they're talking about. So clear communication about what it is, what it isn't covered. When the front end overpromises and the back end underdelivers, that's where your loyalty suffers.
That's true. And that's what you're seeing right now in the industry.
Yeah. EV owners don't want perfection. They need confidence.
Sure.
If I don't have confidence in you as a service department, do I have confidence in the vehicle? Am I going to stay loyal to you?
That's true. When I think about the other EV kind of companies out there, like I'll give you, for example, I have a Rivian, and I'm within a range where they come to my house.
Okay.
And guys, I'll be the first one to tell you, like my Rivian has not been like all like, you know, unicorns and sunshine, right? Like, I mean, I think within a couple months of me owning it, it just decided not to open one day.
You can't come in.
Just straight up, no juice, no nothing, no physical way of actually even opening the door, if that blows your mind. I'm just kind of like, I mean, literally like, so my EV is stuck in my driveway with my laptop in it. I wasn't even necessarily worried about it being dead because I was like, okay, there's obviously a problem. I'm going to call someone. I kind of actually get into it just to get my laptop out, which had work in it. That is actually the part that drove me insanely. But you know, to that point, like, you know, the servicing experience was like wildly awesome. Oh my gosh, we're going to bring someone out there. It's going to right away. This is what's going on, sir. And then to your point, communication, going back to communication, I was getting text messages like how far away that, like almost like an Amazon delivery thing, like how far away the service guy was to, like, so like I didn't even think, I'm like, well, God, the guy said he was going to be here between 3 and 7 o'clock. You know, like, no, I'm getting notifications of like how far out they're going to be, you know, when they're going to be there. In fact, I actually even got a call from him to say, hey, I'm stopping to get a coffee. You want one? I was like, anyways, I digress. But to your point, right? EV owners expect an experience. If you're not executing an experience, dude, there's no way they're going to be loyal to you. And right. And you guys can start to see, the people out there watching, listening, there's a theme here, right? Around training your staff. All right. Little things make big differences, processes. Anyways, let's get into this real quick. Cause I know we're getting towards the tail end, right? Can you share maybe just an example, story of a store that maybe kind of turned things around just in regards to loyalty in general, not just the EV stuff, but just kind of everything we've kind of talked about up to this point, Corey. I know you've seen the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm not talking about the movie. I know you've seen it all. So is there just like one good example, or like, all right, these guys crushed it and they turned into like real loyalty powerhouse?
Yeah, absolutely. We worked with a 3-store group that was just struggling with low CSI, long wait times. They started doing cross-department stand-ups every morning, 10-minute sales and service gatherings, just to review deliveries, appointments, and status updates. And those are really key things to do, and it brings the whole team together. Sales does something that service wasn't doing. So when you buy a vehicle, sales will say, "What time do you want to come pick it up?" Right, and they have a time to deliver it. The service team started doing that. Jason, what time do you plan on picking your vehicle up? Oh, around 4:00. I have somebody coming in at 4. How about 4:15? So that was aligning with their process, and they were spending more quality time with the customer to go over their paperwork, escort them out to the car, all those things. They also aligned their online pricing with what was on the service menu, because both of them were different stories. No surprise there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Within 90 days, their wait times dropped by 20%. Their CSI climbed from the low 700s to the mid 800s. The magic wasn't new techs, it was consistency. Every process works when your team works the process. It can't just be one person. I can't care more than you. It has to be a cohesive team working and rowing in the right direction. Consistency is the greater equalizer to everything. It turns average stores into great ones.
Dude, I mean, isn't that true? I mean, I had a mentor many years ago tell me, say, look, an idea is only as good as how well you can execute it, right? And just because you can execute it great one time, you hit one home run doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the season. Right. So it's that consistent execution. But I think, and guys, for everybody out there watching, listening right now, consistent execution, but the commitment to being intentional, right? Because you will never consistently execute anything unless you're actually intentional about it, because it doesn't just happen on its own. That means documented processes. Guys, come on, it's 2025, for the love of God. All right. If I see, Corey, I'm sorry, but if I see one more dealership I walk into and there's not a documented process, and they're like, oh no, we have a process. There's like 15 different people have 15 different ways of doing it.
That's not a
come on. It's this, we're in an age that doesn't make any sense. You have to have a documented process, right? And you need to have a partner, either internally or externally, like Corey, all right, that's going to commit to the training, coaching necessary for those processes to be executed. And you need to find a way to measure the effectiveness so you can continue. It's got to be a machine. You're always looking to get better, better, and better. Corey, look, I know we're at the tail end of our time. This has been a great conversation, but real quick, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, any final thoughts, and then a great way that someone can connect with you and maybe continue some parts of today's conversation, because we totally did not cover absolutely everything.
No, we definitely didn't cover everything. The one thing I would say is get 1% better every day. I'm not asking you to get 20 to 50% better, 1% better every day, because if you get 1% better every day, what is your percentage at the end of the year?
There you go.
Right. Understanding sales to service handoffs at delivery. People buy from people they know, love, and trust. We need to give them value with purpose, and we need to be intentional with what we're doing. And we need to let them clue in on what they're going to get for their money. If I come in and just say, this 30,000 mile service is $800, you're going to say, no, I'll do my oil change. Just do my oil change.
Sure.
But if I give you value of what you're going to get for that $600, all of a sudden cost becomes a non-issue. We can't make it sound easy. It's not easy to do an oil change, Jason. I can't do it, right? Stop making our services sound easy, because when they sound easy, they should be cheap, and they're not.
Yes.
It's no longer just a water pump we're replacing. How are we getting to that water pump? Feature, advantage, benefit. This has, so that you will. Then you give the price. That's what I would say.
There's his mic drop. Now, real quick though, Corey, for way people can connect with you so they can continue the conversation.
LinkedIn is my biggest platform. It's Corey Smith. You can always send me an email at csmith@apcoholdings.com.
Awesome, man. Hey, dude, I appreciate you taking the time to jam with him today. It's always fun when we get to chat. It's great stuff, guys. Look, I know we've covered a lot of nuggets here. There's been some great opportunities, but again, just to Corey's point, look, 1%, just one tiny thing that we've talked about today is going to make a big difference. Hey, one of the biggest compliments you can give myself or Corey as content creators is to share the show. So if you've enjoyed today's show, man, and it's just, look, I know you're not going to make a comment. I know you're not going to hit like or subscribe. I don't even ask for that crap anymore, because I know you guys don't like doing it. Anyways, but if you got a friend, if you got a manager, if you got a colleague that needs to see some part of today's conversation, the biggest compliment you can give us as content creators is share that show. It means a lot to us. Corey, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today. This has been great for everybody out there watching and listening. You guys have yourself an amazing day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Driven Loyalty Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Happy podcasting.